At Wind River Resort and Casino, we like to celebrate life's little moments. Oh, and the big ones too, because around here, when you're completely in the moment, that's when the magic happens. Come in and find your moment at Wind River Resort and Casino.
Happy Friday morning to you. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Krueger. You're watching Coffee with Krueger, and the radar is picking up on a little bit of activity out there, right? There you can see, looks like some of the pink there over Modoc County, northern Lassen County early this morning, really late last night. It probably didn't amount to much, if anything. Most of that was probably what we know as virga. It's rain that evaporates before reaching the ground. But, you may have seen a little bit out there in the Alturas area, Aden, and, of course, northern Lassen County. Meanwhile, most of the activity right now is off to the east in northern Nevada. But is this, what we're seeing right here, a sign of some change over this weekend? Well, let's talk about that in a little bit more detail, and we'll get into that here. Good morning to you all. It's Friday. How you doing out there? We've had some beautiful weather over the last few days. The winds died down yesterday. Temperatures once again got well into the 70s for some of us in the valley again. No record-breaking temperatures as far as I could see, but still a gorgeous day out there. Now, we're going to see temperatures start to slowly drop. Winds will pick up later this afternoon, and before you know it, it'll be cooler. And are we talking about rain and snow for some of us on Saturday, including the valley? When I say rain, not snow. But could we see that? Yeah, it's a possibility. We're going to get into that here a little bit later here. We have got a couple of people checking in this morning. We have got Shelly saying, good morning. Chilly start to the day. Enjoy yours. Of course, I believe Shelly's out there in Weaverville. We've got Wanda saying good morning as well. So good morning to you all. So glad you could join us out there this morning and enjoying Coffee with Krueger here. I've got my coffee right here. The best part of waking up is coffee in my cup. Unless I can get Folgers to sponsor me, I'm not going to give them the free plug, although I just did, right? Let's get you to, of course, your Krueger's Quickcast. And again, we're starting off with the radar here just to show you, once again, some of the activity that we have seen. It is Friday, January 24th. Let's get you right to Krueger's Quickcast. And we're going to start off by talking about some of those high temperatures we saw again yesterday. This is looking a lot like the temperatures we saw on Wednesday. I'm like having to backtrack here. It looks a lot like the temperatures we saw on Wednesday. A low to mid 70s, although Willows and Oroville more like the mid 60s, so it was a little bit cooler out there. But there you can see in the mountains, of course, no big surprises. Temperatures mainly in the 50s, even some 60s for some of the inland areas. Temperatures right now, it's chilly. We are seeing some of that patchy frost for parts of the valley. And of course, widespread frost in the mountains and even some frost possibly for parts of the north coast as well. 27 in Weaverville right now, 26. Now notice the temperatures aren't quite as cold, especially in the mountains, as it has been. And it's not because the winds are picking up. It's because we actually have some cloud cover out there. And that cloud cover is keeping those temperatures up just a bit. Still below freezing, but still keeping those temperatures up a little bit. Out the door here for your Friday morning, temperatures mainly in the 20s and 30s for the higher elevations. For the coast in the low 40s, and for the valley at 8 o'clock this morning, upper 30s. So again, you see all the clouds that are moving over us. We actually have a weak system that's passing through. This, though, is the sign of some changes we have in store for us as we go into the weekend. It's going to be a couple of things, a few things really. Number one, cooler temperatures. You're going to notice a drop in temperatures for tomorrow. Number two, very strong winds, gusty winds. We've got a wind advisory through the weekend, which we'll get into that here a little bit here. And number three, the potential for some rain for parts of the valley and the potential for some snow for some in the mountains as well, which we'll get into that in the deeper dive forecast because that's not coming in until Saturday. All right, look at the winds out there. There's a wind advisory this weekend. So this won't take effect until tonight through the day on Saturday, and then most likely expiring, I think it's sometime around midday Sunday or so. But we'll take a look at those winds, gusts that we have out there right now, and there really aren't any. I mean, the winds aren't that strong. It looks like maybe parts of the Warner Mountains seeing some strong winds, but otherwise below 10 miles per hour in most cases this morning. Here we are seeing, of course, the wind gusts forecast. You see how by the afternoon this evening, they're picking up a little bit here, the coast, Siskiyou County, Modoc County. The north end of the valley may see the winds pick up generally around 10, 15, maybe 20 miles an hour. But it's going to be a slow progression. So we'll call it breezy later this afternoon for some of us. But then by tonight, by tomorrow morning, now we're talking 25, 30 mile an hour gusts and higher. Of course, some of those mountain ridge tops, those mountain valleys, seeing those gusts really pick up 40, even 50 miles per hour. That's Saturday morning, folks. The winds will probably get even stronger by midday on Saturday. And then on Sunday, even though it'll be windy, we'll see those winds slowly begin to die down. So looking at Futurecast, you can see that that system kind of pushes on through. Things clear out a little bit here. There could be a sprinkle or two, especially off to the east. But again, nothing to write home about. It looks like some clouds kind of lingering around the Eureka area this afternoon, even along Highway 101 there. Otherwise, mainly sunny skies, and we'll call a few puffy cumulus clouds for some of the mountains. Now, look at that little batch of clouds at the very bottom right corner of your screen there. This is what we've got to watch here as we go into Saturday morning and Saturday afternoon, because the activity is going to be coming from the southeast. And the reason I say that is because the area of low pressure responsible for this will be to our south at that point, and the flow around that area of low pressure is what's going to bring in that rain and snow. So, of course, we'll take a closer look at that in your deeper dive forecast here in just a bit. Temperatures in the low to mid 60s for the valley this afternoon, and in the 40s and 50s for the higher elevations. We've got those mid to upper 50s out along the coast. All right, let's take a look at that 7-day outlook. And we're going to go ahead and take a look at the valley. And there you can see the windy conditions for Saturday, Sunday. I think the winds will be strongest as we go into Saturday, and then subsiding but still gusty on Sunday. And look at Chico. I want you to take note. You see the raindrop falling from the clouds there in Chico. Yes, Chico, you could see some showers through the day on Saturday and into Saturday evening. But then, of course, we're back to sunny skies Sunday through Wednesday, warming up a little bit here, and weaker winds, by the way, going into next week. And then another chance for showers, believe it or not, by the end of next week. Here's a look at the coast, Inland and Weaverville. You'll notice no rain there. I don't expect any rainfall in any of these areas here. Windy, though, over the weekend. We've got mainly sunny skies through at least the middle of next week. A chance for showers by the end of next week. Let's take a look at that 7-day outlook for Siskiyou, Modoc County, the eastern mountains. Windy over the weekend. And then, of course, we are looking at dry conditions, too. Now, look at Susanville. Susanville, yes, a chance for a snow flurry or two. I don't think so at Alturas or Mount Shasta, as most of it will be down to the south and southeast of those areas. Let's take a look at Lake Oroville. Looks like that camera may be down this morning. Let's see if the other camera is up. It is. This is Lake Oroville, North Forebay. Looks like we still have the calm winds out there this morning, but look at the cloud cover. Looks kind of overcast, doesn't it? Almost looks ominous enough for showers. And believe it or not, as these clouds move through, the radar has been picking up on some precipitation. Now, if there's a sprinkle, if you feel a drop as you're walking around, don't be surprised, but it's not going to be much, if anything, not enough to cancel any outdoor plans over. Here's a look at Main Street, Chico. Once again, looks fairly overcast this morning, making it a little darker this morning. And you've also got those clouds on Highway 99 at Neal Road. So, yes, but traffic is flowing smoothly. Let's take a look at Highway 44 at Sundial Bridge Drive. Yeah, we've got, of course, the traffic flowing smoothly there, at least based on this still image that we've got here. But you can also look at the distance there and see the overcast skies that we have there, too. Hey, by the way, today is Friday. It is time for our pet of the week. I was able to meet our pet, Skechers. Awesome dog. I think you're going to love it. Check it out. Hello everyone, Mike Krueger from Weather NorCal. You are watching Pet of the Week. We are at Haven Humane Society, that is. We've got Katrina from Haven Humane, and we've got Skechers over here. Very much likes people. Very affectionate, right? Likes kind of leaning on me a little bit here. So what do we got here?
Yeah, definitely a people dog. He's about 1.5 years. We have him as like a pit mix, but he's got some really cool coloring. I don't know if it's picked up on the camera, but he has like the little tan eyebrows. And he's got like a really cute white stripe and like white on his chest and on his feet.
A little bit of brown on his legs there too.
Yeah, he does.
so yeah, definitely some interesting colors going on here.
Very cool looking.
You're saying about 1.5 years.
Yes.
What do you think would be a good household for?
I think any household that just is willing to like work with him a little bit. He's a super sweet dog and he's very people oriented. He definitely wants to be around you and see what you're doing. Like we were playing out here a little earlier with some toys, and he likes to chase the toy, but he ultimately just wants to come back over to you and hang out with you and and see what you're up to. He's very big and he's very goofy, and of course having a big guy like this, it's really important that you do work with them to teach them not to, you know, jump on your guests and knock people over and that sort of thing, because he's definitely a big sweetie and he's very excited when he sees people, but he's also very, very trainable and he's very treat motivated.
Yeah, it seems like it. Like you say, just kind of those things where may need just a little bit of work to kind of be that perfect dog. Already perfect, but I mean, how can you make a dog more perfect? By maybe training them a little bit better here and getting them a little bit more trained. But you're good. You're a good pup. And if you are interested in Skechers here or any other animal, they have it at Haven Humane Society. Call the number at the bottom of your screen, and they will, of course, take care of you. Thanks again, Katrina, and thank you, Skechers. And we will see you next week for Pet of the Week. Well, of course, you saw Skechers there. Beautiful dog here, and really was just a well-behaved dog. But yeah, I think it just used a little bit of work. I believe, don't quote me on this, but I believe he is potty trained. But again, just a few commands here and there, probably like sit and stay and come here and all that good stuff. So those are always the fun ones. I'm still trying to train my dog Nessie to come to me because yeah, she can be a little bit of a brat sometimes when we're out on our walks. It's embarrassing sometimes, honestly. But you know, dogs will be what they're going to be. They're awesome. We love them, and we make do sometimes with some of the things that you got to deal with sometimes. But I love it. I absolutely love it. Love my dog. Let's check in with some of you and check in with what some of you are saying out there this morning. Here, it looks like we've got Kimberly is saying, well, it's kind of interesting. Finished my coffee already. Well, I did too before the show, but I brewed another fresh cup. So there you go there. We've also got Barry saying good morning. Well, good morning to you as well. Hope you're all having a good start to your day. Hey, by the way, remember yesterday I was talking about it was National Pie Day. And I wanted to get some rhubarb pie. Well, if you follow me on Facebook, you might have seen this. Let's go ahead and get that popped up here. I had a chance. I went over to When Pie Meets Bread. Out there on, I believe it's Churn Creek. Dairy Queen is in that little shopping complex, as well as Kubler's Furniture. Went in there, and they didn't have any at the display. I was like, oh my gosh, do they not have rhubarb pie? They had strawberry rhubarb, but they didn't have rhubarb. So I asked the nice lady over on the other side of the counter, I said, hey, do you guys have any full-on rhubarb pie? She went in the back and she pulled one out for me. Oh, that was awesome. Also got a apple crumble, bought some vanilla bean ice cream. Oh, it was good. And as you know, I don't eat a lot of sugar or carbs, but I have the tradition growing up as a kid. You may or may not know about this. I mentioned it a long time ago. Dessert night. Every Thursday is dessert night. So it just so happened that National Pie Day, pi, as you know, it's the mathematical equation, 3.14, you know, that long equation. So it's known as the equation for pi. Right? So then, of course, people have fun with it. They make National Pie Day, and so then people eat pie as a result. And that's what I did. That's how I celebrated. And it happened to be on dessert night, Thursday. So it was really killing two birds with one stone. So I want to thank When Pie Meets Bread for having rhubarb pie, because not a lot of people have just flat rhubarb. It's always usually strawberry rhubarb. But they also have flat-out rhubarb. And again, I remember as a kid, I mentioned, as a kid, I used to go to the garden. We had rhubarb growing in the garden, and I used to just pull it out of the garden, dip it in sugar, and just eat it raw. So good. So good. Kimberly saying, time to brew some decaf already. Yeah, I mean, sometimes people, for me, the rule is if it's 12 o'clock, I'll have a cup of coffee. If it's 12:01, no more coffee. But because I don't want to, I want to be able to go to sleep that night. I've got to get my sleep, right? We've also got Mark Olson. Good morning, Mike. Happy Friday, Mike. Have a great day and have a great weekend. Well, you too, Mark. I certainly appreciate that. Hope you have a great weekend. Well, what do you say we get to the deeper dive forecast? Because there are some things we need to talk about. We've got wind. We've got snow in the mountains, possibly as early as this weekend, as well as maybe even some showers, and next week. So, yeah. A lot more to talk about than we've had in a while. And as you know, Coffee with Krueger would not be possible without Wind River Resort and Casino. At Wind River Resort and Casino, enjoy friendly service, a wide variety of specials and promotions, plus all of your favorite slots and table games. All right, let's go and take a look at those current conditions out there right now. We've got 38 degrees for Redding, 40 in Red Bluff, 26 degrees for Alturas, and 25 degrees in Susanville. Let's get that out of there. There you can see 25 degrees Susanville, Quincy, 24 in Chester, and we got about upper 30s to low 40s right now out along the coast. All right, let's take a look at those weather headlines. So we've got a cooling trend, and we're going to notice it today. Temperatures dropping slightly, but still another pleasant day. And even though the winds are picking up this afternoon, the first half of the day should be okay. And then we'll probably start to notice it get a little bit more breezy by the second half of the day. But the wind's really picking up tonight through the weekend, in particular Saturday. But then after we get through the weekend, we go into next week, the winds start to die down. I think we'll probably still see some breezy conditions on Monday, progressively dying down as we go to Tuesday. But weaker winds and warmer temperatures. So one of the reasons why we got these winds is because we have a cold blast of air coming down. And I say blast, it's really not massive. It's not major. It's still going to be cool in the valley with temperatures mid to upper 50s. In the mountains, though, temperatures only reaching the 30s in many locations. But that cooler air, you can drop our temperatures down over the weekend. Once that cooler air moves out and the winds die down, we warm back up again a little bit, nothing major. And then by the end of next week, I'm beginning to see more and more signs of showers and mountain snow. We may be breaking the pattern that we've been under for the last week and a half, 2 weeks, and that is this blocking ridge of high pressure that's been preventing any storms from moving in, and we've remained dry. That may come to an end by the end of this next week and into that next weekend. So really wrapping up the month of January and then seeing the potential for more wet weather for the first week in February. Fingers crossed, folks. This would be fantastic. What's not so fantastic, of course, is the wind advisory we have for the weekend. Gusts in all these different areas. You can see the numbers here, 35 to 45 mile an hour gusts for central eastern Siskiyou County and Modoc County. For the valleys surrounding foothills, 40 to even 50 miles per hour. And then those gusts 50 to 60 miles per hour for Trinity, western Siskiyou, Del Norte, and northern Humboldt counties. Again, this is a wind advisory, especially for Saturday, should expire at certain points of the day on Sunday, just depending on where you are. But the winds will progressively get weaker. So when we talk about the winds, these are some of the things we got to just kind of keep our eye out for. Is a potential for some broken branches and downed trees. Those downed trees could in turn lead to the potential for some power outages over the weekend as well. And this is something that, we tend to maybe not think about, but when you're traveling on those mountain highways or highways in general, just be careful passing those big rigs, because when you get those gusty winds, it can cause them to kind of sway into another lane and kind of can be a dangerous situation. So just be aware of that and maybe try to get past them a little bit faster than normal, but although not too fast, you can get a ticket if you're doing that. I know from experience. Another story for another day. All right, there you can see those wind gusts this morning, and not a problem, not an issue, mainly below 10 miles per hour. It showed 32. That's an anomaly. That's it. That wasn't true for Edna. But look at the winds this afternoon. Now, it looks like it's kind of favoring more the north end of the valley and then northward, eastward, and westward. South end of the valley, maybe not as much of an issue. But even then, even though the winds aren't really an issue, it's just breezy. The nuisance of those winds coming in later today and into the evening. But look at that, it just lights up by tonight and tomorrow morning. So now what we're seeing here are gusts easily over 30 miles per hour for the valley and the foothills. Look where the strongest winds are. North, west side of the valley. Look at Redding, look at Red Bluff, look at Willows, right? On the west side of the valley, 25 to even over 30 miles per hour. Look at Chico, 16 miles per hour. It's still going to be windy there, but as you get into the east side of the valley, the winds typically aren't quite as strong there. Now also notice the foothills. This is where we're going to see some of the stronger winds here, 40 to even 50 miles per hour. But gusty, elsewhere, but not as bad. The Warner Mountains, yes. Central Siskiyou County on Shasta Valley, yes, some gusty winds there. And then, of course, heading off to the west, yes, the winds are strong, but again, the strongest northwest side of the valley and then into the foothills. That's where we see those strongest winds. And they really pick up even more by the time we get into Saturday around midday, even for many of the higher elevations. Now notice it's coming from the northeast, moving southwest, and then kind of interacting with the mountains and creating these little local areas where we see these easterly winds coming in from the east, then more of a northerly wind for the valley, northwest wind here elsewhere. All right, so that's just kind of funneling down into the valley, by the way. All right, so we go into Saturday, 5 p.m., still very gusty for the eastern foothills and many of the higher elevations, and even for the valley, pretty gusty Saturday at 5 p.m. But what we're seeing here, as we go into Saturday evening into Sunday, winds are strong, but not as strong. So we're progressively starting to watch the winds die down as we take you through the day on Sunday. And then by Monday, still a little breezy, I think, but probably not as bad. So one of the reasons, and the reason we're seeing these changes in these winds is right here. So the clouds we're seeing this morning is a reaction to the area of low pressure that is moving southward. So those are the clouds that are moving in. We've got this trough of low pressure right here, okay? And the trough is where we typically see clouds and even rain and snow. But obviously we're not seeing that right now. So as this dives down to the south, our winds pick up, our temperatures drop, and we see the chance for showers and maybe some snow in the mountains. Let's talk about that. All right, so here we are taking you through Friday. All right, maybe a weak disturbance pushing through, maybe some shower, maybe a sprinkle or two. Don't count on much, if anything, really. But it's clearing out this afternoon. Now, I think some of us in the mountains could see some afternoon puffy cumulus clouds. Maybe some clouds lingering around Humboldt Bay, and maybe even some low clouds along Highway 101 south of that as well. But look at this. See that right there? So what's happening is the winds are picking up. The area of low pressure is kind of moving down to the south. So at this point, it's to the south of us. And what's happening is we're getting the flow around that area of low pressure, and so that flow is coming in from the southeast, making its way northwestward. All right, so let's take you into Saturday around midday. There's the best chance for snow right here. Plumas County. I think some of that snow could make its way into southeastern Lassen County around Susanville. And, maybe even some of it making its way into the mountains of eastern Butte County and eastern Tehama County. But also look at this. We're seeing the potential for some showers possibly making the way into parts like Paradise, Magalia, Chico, Oroville, maybe seeing a shower or two as well. Very light, by the way. Keep in mind, this is a fairly moisture-starved system, so it's just trying to squeeze out any moisture that's in the atmosphere, which there isn't much of it. Let's take you to about 5 o'clock this afternoon. You see how it pushes eastward. So look what's happening. Oroville, Chico, Willows, yeah. I think Glenn and Butte County have the best chance for some of that shower activity. A trace to maybe a few hundredths at most, 1 or 2 hundredths of an inch of rainfall, possible. You see the snow into eastern Tehama County. There's Lassen Park. It's getting around Viola, possibly, seeing some of that, right? And then you can kind of see it just kind of breaks apart. So Corning, maybe some showers, maybe a sprinkle or two for Red Bluff, but I think Redding should stay dry out of all this. I think so should all of really most of Shasta County as well. Dry all over here. You're not getting any of it because this is all just too far to the south and east. Now keep in mind, and here's what I want to point out as we look at this. The positioning of all of this is going to most likely change. So be sure to watch meteorologist Chase Wilson. He'll have the latest on that as we go into Saturday. But the positioning of the area of low pressure that's to our south, because keep in mind, this is all coming from southeast and then kind of working its way this way. all right? The positioning of that area of low pressure, if it shifts more to the south, it moves a little bit faster, then, I mean, a lot of this is not going to happen. However, if it sticks around a little bit longer, if it shifts a little bit more to the north, then sure, yeah, Reading may see a shower if we can get that a little bit more to the north. But I don't see that happening at this point. Then as we go into Saturday night and into, there's 10 p.m., look at that. Still some leftover sprinkles or light showers for Glenn and Butte County. But then by Sunday, you're pretty much done with. Right? You've just got a few clouds kind of lingering. Sunday afternoon, you're looking at dry conditions. And then, of course, still windy, but the winds are dying down a little bit here. And just for fun, we take a look at the forecast note totals. It's not picking up any numbers, but we could see a light dusting for places like Portola and maybe even Susanville, quite honestly. So, again, not a lot of snow, but it's picking up on something. Something, right? Okay, so here again is that trough I was talking about. See what happens? That trough is digging into the south. Area of low pressure begins to develop. We've got high pressure to our north and west. Classic setup for gusty north winds between this ridge of high pressure and low pressure. You get that squeeze play, and that's really what helps to draw in those strong northeasterly winds for Saturday and Sunday. This kind of shifts a little bit more to the south. And look at this. This is good to see. Better potential for some rain and some mountain snow down into Southern California. I don't think it's going to be a lot, but it's better chances as it kind of pushes on through. So again, those gusty winds on Sunday, as this shifts to the east, even on Monday, still a little bit on the breezy side. High pressure builds in. It warms up a little bit here for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but still dry. Now, if you watched yesterday evening's forecast at 6 p.m., we were talking about this line potentially bringing some rain, and it was showing rain over Northern California on Thursday. Now it's backing off, and it's waiting until Friday. However, the European forecast model, a different model than we're looking at here, is still showing rain on Thursday. So, bottom line, as this pushes through, we've got a chance for some showers, possibly as early as Thursday and even into Friday. Now, you can see it's not really all that strong at that point, but the main thing that we can take from this is that, number one, we're finally able to break through that ridge of high pressure. That ridge of high pressure is moving on out. That's been the blocking ridge. When you have a ridge of high pressure, it acts like a brick wall and it prevents any of these storms from moving in. And that's what we've been dealing with here for the last week and a half, 2 weeks. But now that ridge is off to the east, and essentially what this is doing is opening that door and saying, hey, storms, any storms over the Pacific, come on over. Give us some rain, give us some snow. And that's essentially what's happening as we get to the end of the month. So we're going to wrap up the month of January with the potential for some light rain and even some snow in the mountains. We're going to go into February with some wet weather as a series of storms push on through. Yay, right? Now, is this guaranteed? No, we all know that as we start looking beyond 8, 9, 10 days, things happen, things change. But this trend, and that's what we really do. For me to sit here and say, oh, we're going to get, a half of an inch of rain 10 days from now, that's irresponsible, because those numbers are never going to be accurate. Very rarely are they very accurate, okay? But what we can do when we look at these longer range forecast models, that's where having these local meteorologists, such as myself and even at the TV stations, right, where we can take a look at these and go, all right, here's the trends that we're seeing, and here are some of the things that we can look for. Now, I've been here for 25 years, the longest any meteorologist that is giving you weather information. And these, from my experience in the last 25 years, I can look at these trends and give you a better idea of what to expect. All right, so here's what we got going on. Here's your precipitation outlook. Wetter than normal conditions to our north, drier than normal conditions to the south. Now again, keep in mind, just because you don't have green over your area, and sometimes even if you have drier than normal conditions, doesn't mean you won't see rain. What it's doing is this is saying, hey, here's the normal rainfall for that particular area. Will you see above normal rainfall or below normal rainfall? So typically when you see these colors here, that's just trending drier, trending wetter, and the areas of gray here are near normal. So we have been in the drier than normal conditions for quite a while. We're getting more into that near normal. And again, that just basically says, hey, there's better chances that we could see some of that wet weather. So again, some of the concerns have been the lack of rain. We're still above normal for the season. Our snowpack, at least here in Northern California, is above normal, but below normal in Central and Southern California. And our lake levels, the largest, really, the Shasta and Oroville, and of course we always like to look at Trinity too, right? We're still over 120% in most of those cases with the historical average. Now we have seen a slight drop here for Lake Shasta the last 24 hours, but a slight trickle upwards for Trinity Lake and Lake Oroville. But the lakes are still looking pretty good. Now for your ski report, obviously not much new snow. We went from 57 inches at the summit of Mount Shasta Ski Park earlier this week. Now it's down to 55, but as you know, they're usually making snow and taking advantage of those cold nights. That's also the case for many of the Tahoe region areas as well. So ski conditions are still pretty good out there. A lot of bluebird days that we've been dealing with here if you like those kind of days. There's your wave heights for today. They are actually increasing, but they should start to decrease as we take you through Saturday afternoon. So as a result of those higher winds and those waves, we have a gale warning here later this afternoon for your marine forecast. All right, let's take a look at your Trinity County neighborhood forecast. And again, several things to kind of point out the 7-day outlook. Windy, cooler over the weekend, winds dying down but warmer and dry through Wednesday. Chance for showers with snow levels for Trinity County around 3,000 feet by Thursday. I think you'll be dry though today and through the weekend. Also for southern Trinity County was 55 for Forest Glen and 59 degrees in Ruth. Take out to the north coast, also dry today through the weekend through next Wednesday with a chance for showers possibly as early as next Thursday. There you can see out towards Ferndale, a high of 53, 52 degrees for Rio Dell, and 53 degrees in Highsville. Windy across the board here throughout the weekend. Trinidad, 56, 57 in Hoopa, and Willow Creek, a high of about 58 degrees. All right, here you can see, of course, 61 degrees out towards Smith River, 52 for Gasquet, and 54 degrees in Oric. And there you can see Siskiyou County neighborhood forecast. Low to mid 50s for Highway 96. Basically upper 40s to low 50s along the I-5 corridor. And for Scott Valley, you're talking 49 for Fort Jones, 49 in Etna, Greenview, about 48, and 49 degrees in Callahan. All right, here's your Siskiyou County neighborhood forecast for central and eastern Siskiyou County, 40s and 50s, windy and cooler. I mean, look at the high on Saturday for Mount Shasta, 38. 41 on Sunday, but back in the 50s by Tuesday, Wednesday. And snow levels on Thursday, 3,500 feet. Snow levels on Thursday for Alturas will be 4,000 feet. Temperatures mid to upper 30s over the weekend, 40s, even eventually 50s by next Wednesday. Your Eastern Mountains neighborhood forecast. Bernie, I don't have any rain or snow for you, but you will see some clouds this afternoon, windy and cold over the weekend, and dry for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday with sunny skies. And snow levels 3,500 feet on Thursday. Let's take you down to the south, and you'll notice here for Lassen Park, a chance for snow. You'll notice in Chester, a chance for snow on Saturday as well. Still windy both those days for both Lassen and Chester, Lassen Park. And then on Sunday, no more rain, no more snow, sunny skies, but still windy. Dry through Wednesday, and then another chance for snow levels around 4,500 feet by next Thursday. For Paradise, I've got you windy on Saturday, maybe a chance for a shower on Saturday as well, along with Chico. Sunday, windy, dry through Wednesday, and showers on Thursday. Susanville, I've got you with a chance for some snow flurries. Windy and dry on Sunday. Winds died down, warming up a little bit here through Wednesday, and then 4,500 foot snow levels by next Thursday. And that'll be the case on Friday as well. Let's take a look at your Valley neighborhood forecast brought to you by Walgamith Painting. Temperatures low to mid 60s here for today. Windy. Notice Chico. Notice the raindrops. There is a chance for showers there on Saturday. Sunday, you're dry through Wednesday with a chance for showers again on Thursday and even Friday of next week. Here's a look at to the north here. 64 for the city of Shasta Lake, 65 in Redding and Anderson. Notice no raindrops on Saturday for Redding. I think it's going to be too far to the south of Redding to see that rain. However, places like Red Bluff, That's a transition from the dry conditions to the potential for some wet weather to the south of Red Bluff. But Cottonwood about 64, as well as Palo Cedro and the city of Shasta Lake. So there's a look at your 7-day outlook for Redding. Again, it's the cooler temperatures too. We can't forget about the fact that it will be cooler even in the valley, but obviously not a very big drop. I mean, still not that bad, mid to upper 50s. Gusts 30, 40 miles per hour for the valley. And then for Monday through Wednesday, we're looking at temperatures in the low 60s and some showers possibly by Thursday. So that's a look at that forecast here. Again, so I finally have some things to talk about, so it's taking a little bit longer, but that's usually what happens. And that's why we do the quick cast for those of you that are in a hurry. And then for those of you that want more detail, you can do that. That's the beauty of what I do here. We got Kimberly saying, oh, I better bring in some outdoor decor. Probably, yeah, with the winds. See, that's what we're here for. Now you know it's going to be windy out there. Looks like we got Catherine Schmidt checking in this morning. She's saying, good morning, of course, wind. I got all my leaves raked up in piles. Well, you may want to clean those up. Might want to put those in bags or put them somewhere, cover them up in tarps, although the tarps, you got to make sure they're properly staked down too, but I don't envy you right now. All that work for nothing, right? Well, yeah, hopefully you can kind of clean those up and get those ready to go. Well, that is going to do it for our Friday. Interesting week, right? Definitely an interesting week because we haven't had really the last couple of weeks. It's been dry. But it looks like we're finally starting to kind of break out of that trend and that pattern. So that is really good news. So I want you to go out there, enjoy today's beautiful weather, knowing that we may eventually start to see a break in this overall trend. We could see some showers as early as this weekend for some, but nothing significant, nothing to get excited about. And the trend kind of goes back to the drier conditions through the first half of next week. But eventually, as of right now, nothing guaranteed. As of right now, it looks like we could see a better chance for some wet weather. So while that's going on, we have a weekend coming up. Maybe some of you are heading out to the Bull and Gelding sale in Red Bluff. I know my wife and I are going to go out there on Saturday. We're very excited to go check that out. Get our cowboy and cowgirl on, although I don't have any boots or any Western wear, so I'll have to do the best that I can. What do you have planned this weekend? Should have some fun. You should have maybe fly a kite. But yeah, be prepared for those gusty winds throughout the weekend, especially for Saturday. And then they should start to slowly subside on Sunday. Have yourselves a great weekend. Have yourselves a great Friday. And be sure to check in with Chase Wilson throughout the weekend on Saturday, Sunday. He'll have your 6 a.m., your noon, and your 6 p.m. update, both Saturday and Sunday. And I'll be back here with your weather forecast at 6 a.m. Then, of course, Coffee with Krueger at 7 a.m. Until then, have a great Friday and enjoy the rest of your weekend.